You ever heard of a mocktail bar?
I've had a couple of mocktails, yeah.
Yeah.
Like what?
Andrew, tell them what website to go buy these cool shirts we got.
ProjectExodusCorp.com.
Yes, sir. We got shirts starting at like $19 now.
Plus shipping?
Plus
How much is
shipping.
shipping?
Well, plus shipping is usually like $2.99, but like if you pay $2.99 once, you get like 20 shirts if you wanted to, and pay once.
The girl, she got some, excuse me, some fentanyl walk shirts or a shirt. Took her. She said it came in like 2 days.
Yeah, it came pretty quick. But also, Happy Helpers Moving.
Hey, bro.
Happy to help.
Yes. Happy Helpers Moving sponsors this podcast through and through. How much money did you drop this week?
I don't want to talk about it. Probably at least 5, bro.
Yeah.
Not good.
$5.
We got we got
it.
Nicole's coaching. I'm a horrible.
Is that what it's called?
I don't know.
Nicole Rose coaching.
Yes, better your life a day at a time with Nicole Rose. That's a plug. Shout out. So for anybody that sees this, we've just spent like the last 2 hours, at least 2.5 hours,
Trying to figure out how to plug some mics in.
Yeah,
We're
we
drained.
just to find out it was one button.
It's an uphill battle.
I literally looked at him and go, "We're gonna find out what it is to get the video right, and we're gonna find out how simple it is." And he's like, "What's this do?" Boom.
Samsonite.
Yeah. So this is the Project Exodus podcast, episode 2
Ish.
ish,
1.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first one
We nailed.
really good.
It was
I mean,
great.
If we could duplicate it, we'd need a script.
We didn't
but
know
it
about the button last
Yeah.
time.
didn't know about the button.
Or that we had to plug the mics in.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I think for the way it looks over there, I think this is sick.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to be okay. So
It's going to be all right.
it's got a bright future. Good deal. All right, so what are we talking about? We got 30 minutes.
You're going to tell us about the mocktail that you tried.
Oh yeah, mocktails. So anybody that's heard of this, it's like mock-ups of cocktails.
Is it low calorie?
I doubt it. It was super sugary. Me and Shelby went to a restaurant down in either Venice or somewhere down there. It was called Sharkies or Sharks
Yeah.
or Fins or something, whatever. And this has been probably like a year ago. But we go in and God loves Shelby. She's super gullible. You know, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get one of these mocktails, and she goes, "Is there alcohol in it?" I'm like, no, but I order it, and it's like this super fruity knockoff of like a Long Island or something. Tasted nothing like an alcoholic beverage. It was super expensive. I want to say it was like $8-9, whatever, for a drink.
No
Like the
booze.
whole experience.
How'd you feel?
Felt like a complete loser. I felt like I was wasting my time. Like, I don't know. I mean, it was
How were your dance moves after?
the same. Very, very horrible. Very bad. Not a prolific.
What do you
dancer.
think is the appeal of like a mocktail bar?
To fit in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe.
Participate.
Oh, wait. You're telling me this is a mocktail bar.
No, he's talking
No,
about
no,
his
no.
first his mocktail drink.
Just
we were
Oh,
talking
okay.
about mocktail bars.
Is that a
earlier.
thing?
It's a thing, yeah. In St. Pete, I guess.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, imagine having like almond milk on tap.
See, I don't know what
Just
the
like,
I don't know
I
what
just
the
have the draft. Yeah.
I don't know what the appeal would be for an alcoholic to go somewhere and get something that tastes nothing like alcohol, and you know, to me, it's just like a slippery slope. Like, oh, I went and had some mocktails. Well, good for me. You know, whatever. I don't know. I don't really get it.
What else do we do?
I don't know. I mean, like
Bottle of water.
yeah. I mean, being normal.
Bar or
Yeah,
just
it's healthier.
I mean, they have alcohol-free beer, or whatever they call it, non-alcoholic. Like, if you really just enjoy the taste of beer,
Dude, have you guys tried the Lagunitas IPNA?
what?
The Lagunitas IPNA?
I was an IPA guy.
Dude,
Yeah.
it's a non-alcoholic IPA. It tastes just like it, dude.
But I mean, everybody knows IPAs taste like trash. Like,
I fucking love it,
I mean,
dude. I'm
it's-
a fan of the hops, bro.
it's acquired taste.
Fair, yeah.
Do you drink too many of those too?
Yeah.
Yeah,
did you
for
crave
sure.
it?
Oh,
all
yeah,
12
yeah,
of them
yeah,
back to
yeah.
back.
I might go get some right after this.
Man.
They're that good.
Well, I guess we're really killing it on the sobriety podcast.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
You know what's cool is I don't know if this has always been a thing. I don't think it has been as public as how cool it is to be sober in a lot of circles now, with especially with like mainstream like pop culture, like with Eminem being as sober he is, like Theo Vaughn. Like, I can't remember being young and Stevie Nicks bragging about being sober, or Anthony Kiedis wasn't like on every interview talking about how sober he was. Now, for anybody that's listening, Eminem just dropped a new album, and like a lot of his songs, he talks about like his addiction briefly, and about a couple of interviews I've seen is like how happy he is now, like how he would never want to go back to that. And usually once a year, I see a post where someone's like showing Marshall Mathers holding this medallion for another year sober, and it seems like being sober doesn't come with that stigma of what a loser. It's like it's almost something to be proud of in a lot of circles, and I feel like it's becoming more of a norm.
Yeah, at least in like older crowds, you know what I mean? But I think it still hasn't made its way to, to break into the younger generations yet. As far as like younger kids and stuff like that, like, if you're not drinking in high school, you're kind of still a fucking loser.
What a shame that our culture has gotten to where it's not a norm with the younger generations, which culturally, I hope this is a really dark part of our society's past where like you're kind of, what's the word? Like you're brought into adulthood to see how drunk you can get, or what drugs you can acquire, and
it's everywhere though. It's in movies, it's in music. Everything's glorifying partying.
Culture-wise, I don't know if it's in like so much of the Middle Eastern cultures. Like I know like you can't be caught with alcohol in a lot of those countries. Like it's, I mean, they're a different culture.
I read something today in this book that was talking about how, little boys just like growing up wanting to be like, always looking at like their older father figures or just older men. And they're constantly seeing them like smoking tobacco, chewing tobacco, drinking alcohol, and how that kind of creates this like subconscious like thing of like, oh, I want to be a man. Like, I don't want to be a boy. I want to be a man. So like, if I want to be a man, like you start engaging in some of these behaviors thinking that that's what like adults or that's what men do,
I mean, you look at the movies from the 80s. I'd say that because that's when I was a kid, but like Burt Reynolds, like walking up to a bar getting, old fashioned, or James Bond, martini shaken, not stirred. Ironically, I found out that's because the water would come to the top and he wouldn't get drunk. But like it was manly. It's like it put hair on your chest if you were singing Hank Williams Jr. drinking with your buddies around a fire pit or something.
Right.
Yeah. What about you, Joel? What do you think?
I don't know. I don't see anything really changing anytime soon. I mean, like Brock said, that is a form of masculinity, in order to really try anything. I remember when I was in high school, I mean, that was a lot of how you showed, some type of masculinity at parties, how many beers you can drink, how many lines you can do. I don't know, to make that, I mean, you got to understand, though, the consequences aren't the same for everyone. So drinking's still, I always tell people, I got nothing against alcohol or drugs of any type. I just can't do them. I lose control. I crave more. That supersedes all rational thought processes. It's.
Do you think that
I'm the problem.
Do you think that everyone gets there eventually? It's just that some people take longer to get there, or are there literally people that can go out and, do a gram and then like not think about it again? Is that a thing?
Not think about it again. But
I'm sure they got buyer's remorse for the rest of the year.
Yeah. What the heck happened last weekend? Oh, don't think about it. Yeah. I don't. Not in my circle of friends did I see anyone that was using or drinking. What's the term now? Responsibly.
Yeah. I don't think that I have either.
I don't know how you do a bag full of some powdery substance responsibly, but we went for it.
I'm a social crack smoker.
Yeah.
Socially.
Yeah, I think you kind of hit it on the head when you said not everyone's consequences are the same. I mean, depending on who you are, your age, sex, all that, the consequences between staying up all night doing coke and losing your job the next morning because you didn't show up. I mean,
well, yeah, I mean, we're here tonight because of the consequences, not for any other reason.
right?
So I work with this young kid. He's 19. He's out drinking the other
What a
night.
loser.
Up all night drinking. But he gotten a DUI like last year or something like that. Had to get the interlock, all that stuff. But like now he's in
Drinking every
college. No, he's not. Like he He's like, man, that sucked. I'm so messed up. He came to work. He felt like shit. He's like, I'm not gonna do that again. But he's not drinking and driving anymore.
Yeah, I had
He's doing it
Well, how?
every so often.
What if he
I don't
runs
know, it
out
doesn't
of
make sense to
drinks?
me. He's got self-control. I guess he just stopped.
we had this one kid.
I don't
and,
know.
For anonymity, I won't say his name, but like we had this one kid that came to a meeting. Like his first night, he stood up and shared, and he was like, "I've wrecked 4 company vehicles in the last month."
Same company.
I would assume so.
Yeah, well, this one's on the company.
Yeah, but it just like
Enabling
the
his drinking.
idea that it took you 4,
Yeah.
so like it kind of goes like I can't stop, and there was that's just, I mean, for most people it's like, wow, that's really outlandish that would happen, but it's not that unusual. Like people really genuinely can't stop. Like,
What I think the lie I always told myself was, all right, I'm gonna quit drinking next week, or I'm gonna stop drinking like that. I mean, I kept pushing it out and out. You know what I mean? I got my first DUI at 16. I mean, that really said it all there. You know what I mean? So having a DUI by 19, never met a social drinker that's ever gotten a DUI ever. So if you got a DUI, you know what I mean, you go out, you socially drink, you have a couple drinks, that's it, you're done. Got a little buzz. You don't even crave more. So there's,
Dude, I
would
almost
you-
feel like that's even worse though. Like in its own way, right? Because it's like it's almost like because you never hit a bottom, it's just like you just have this little bit of like, being like performing suboptimally that you carry with you for your whole life because it never becomes a problem. Versus it's like if you're someone who like is addicted to it, you're gonna, pound drinks, do what you do, and you're gonna wake up and eventually you're gonna realize that, hey, like I gotta make a change, and like now it's like then you end up completely sober and you get all the benefits of that,
Well, for this kid, the consequences were enough. A
Yeah.
little bit like an overnight in jail, probation, all this stuff. and
yeah,
he
but
was like,
does
I'm not
he still drinks?
not like. I don't remember
You're
his
saying like
parents,
not
but I
with the
mean,
same intensity, or he's got like boundaries for himself.
Well, like he just was like drinking. She came to work the next day. He showed up to work, but he was just saying, he drank a lot, but he's. He's not, I don't believe he's an alcoholic. Now this is my place to say that, but I just mean like, here's a kid who's out drinking with his friends, but he's not drinking and driving anymore. But I mean, he's 19. Was he going to stop drinking for the rest of his life because he got a DUI?
yes,
Okay.
I mean, you put lives at risk, you put your own life at risk.
You know
what
what
I mean?
I tell you what I think is real interesting about that point is the fact of how hard it is to reach people in that age bracket. We got a guy that's 19 now that I mean he was staring down the barrel of prison. We were all just really kind of, hey man, get it together. And I think Joel said one of the most impactful things is like, let him go ahead and get it out of the way. Get it out of the way now. You're 19, go to prison, get it out of the way.
I mean, that's why I see a lot of times, especially with the young guys. It's like, I'm not here to save their 20s. I'm here to maybe help them get sober at 36 instead of 39 by planting that seed. I'm definitely not ever.
Optimistic.
Well, I mean,
I
it is what it is. I got the
I'm
number.
36.
I got the numbers to support it. So
Dude,
it's,
it is the best curveball to see someone's face when you're like, oh, go ahead and get out of the way. Or
Yeah.
I told him, I was like, okay, go ahead and start saving money and putting it aside for your books. He's like, what?
No, you don't even want
Yeah.
jail to be
Yeah.
comforting. Just go to prison.
And it's
Get
like
that
the
going.
look on their face, like, and Andrew told the guy, he was like, you don't want to be 19 in prison. And so instead of the like typical, hey, please stop, you're looking at this, it's like we embrace it. It's like, oh, go, you're going.
Yeah.
What are you waiting on? Like,
And-
you're definitely going. And it's like that clicks.
Yeah, and I'm being serious about it because I'm trying to preserve those last couple of years in his 30s that maybe us planting the seed.
Sounds so messed
It's
up, man.
crazy, man. It is crazy,
Yeah.
but that's where it's at.
I got real. It always was really personal for me. And Joel told me one day, he's like, you don't have to be their friend. They may not like you now, but they'll know who to call when they're ready. And it's difficult because like,
Luckily for people that are young or any age that want to get sober or get off drugs, there's tons of places they can go. People that have been there before them, versus like whenever AA was founded. Like at least there's so many different, because being sober can be cool.
There's
Yeah.
all those opportunities, but the fear still keeps people from reaching out. In fact, I'll get a lot of calls from guys like that either came through our program or whatever, and they'll call me years later. Sometimes they call me drunk because I can tell that they're, trying to reach out, but they don't know how to do it. Or they'll call sober and just kind of ask some wild questions where it's not even, I can tell the fear is still there. Like, really, they're just calling me for help. And, I got, it's kind of on me to see past that at this point, So
Yeah, it's
it's about planting the seed, really. I mean, there's not much we can do.
Yeah, because at the
outside
same
of-
time, you also got to remember it's like everyone's at a different point in their recovery or in their journey. And so it's like you don't know like what framework of understanding they've got built in their mind. You know what I mean? It's like it really is. I think like you're saying, it's like it's planting the seed, bro.
yeah.
You can't force people to change.
Yeah, we get frustrated. We're sponsoring, especially young kids. You're just like, man, why can't you see it? And they can't see it because the consequences haven't added up. They just, they can't even imagine what they're even going to do for fun. So they're not even listening to me anyway, So
Yeah, you said it right. Like the fear. Like when I came in and the overwhelming amount of talk about fear, at first was kind of shocking because like you never would think in the days that I was using that I was afraid of anything.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality was I was afraid of a life sober. I didn't understand how to comprehend that. And then you get into recovery and it talks about fear. Andrew told me this, irrational fear, like afraid of things that hadn't even happened. And that was a wake-up call because when I would really sit down and think about the things I was stressed and worried about, it was the stuff that hadn't even happened.
that's never going to happen.
Yeah, it's
never
always
going to happen.
forward thinking. You find anxiety. Remember in the past, you find depression.
Like my
Yeah.
sponsor used to say, the wreckage of the past and the wreckage of the future. So like I'm not living in the moment. And if I'm just like obsessing about things that could happen, like I'm never living in the moment because I'm either worried about something that happened before or I'm projecting like just all this garbage in the future that's not even real. It's just made up in my head, but I still feel it like it is real and it sucks. And I still struggle with that sometimes, but
And what's crazy is then when you're like when you're actually acting out things in the present, when you're thinking too far forward or thinking too far back, it ends up changing the actions that you're doing in the now that lead you closer to some of those things. Like what you fear is what you will create.
Yeah,
You know?
you manifest it. You talk it into existence. Like, one of the things with irrational fears is like, I told a guy one time, it always starts if, what am I going to do? Like, what am I going to do if? And it's such a easy way to identify that thing is because like, you don't know what you're going to do, if anything. What are you doing is the real statement that needs to be made. And if you're ever leading into a situation where you're projecting this negative thing that hasn't happened or hasn't come, you've convinced yourself already it's on the way, and it probably will come then.
Yeah.
Because you've made it happen.
That's kind of a lot of the program that we work, though, is to not, I mean, that's my default mode is like, do I want to enjoy this moment in the present moment? No, I got plenty of stuff that's never going to happen to worry about. And I'll just stay up all night, just smashing that through my head constantly. You know what I mean? And that's, that's the mind of an alcoholic addict, man. That's, so what do? Practice gratitude, change the narrative of your thoughts, or accept them for what they are. I mean, there's a lot of it. Come out Saturday night. I got a whole speech on this. So
Yeah, for
that's
those
at 7, Next Generation Recovery, South Tuttle, Salvation Army.
Sarasota, Florida.
Nicole will be there. She'll be
Yeah.
on the panel.
you got
So-
Greg, Tony,
Greg, yeah,
and then
Tom
from
Tony.
Project 180.
Yep.
That meeting is what time is it? We good?
Yeah, we got
10 minutes.
Ish.
Nice. Yeah, that meeting.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Yeah, so we have a meeting on Saturday nights called Next Generation Recovery, and we started it a little over 2 months ago, not knowing what it was going to be like. We take a meeting to the Salvation Army every Friday night, and it's really kind of chill, laid back. It's not your traditional AA, NA. We don't read nothing against the traditions or promises, but we really like to lean into the idea of talking about things that are not normally talked about in meetings. And the format is usually there's a presenter, like Joel's going to be there this Saturday night. Usually give 15, 20 minutes of a presentation, and then there'll be like a 3-4 person panel that comes up, and every one of them will talk about that topic. But man, it has been a lot more people than we expected. I mean, we average like 60, 70 people.
You guys
every
drive a
Saturday.
crowd, bro.
It's wild.
Yeah.
we didn't even know we were going to be able to get a building. Like when we first started looking for places, we got, what was that quote we got?
Like $150 a meeting.
Yeah, so they
So
had
an
just
hour, 150 an hour, maybe
for an
200.
hour. Yeah, we in the room was little
No
bitty,
bathroom. You had to walk across a huge parking lot.
no air conditioner. That's what.
Yeah,
it
no
felt
AC. You got to turn it on like an hour earlier.
And then we ran into
Just no love.
yeah, no love, and we were eyeballing the Salvation Army Church on Tuttle because it's kind of in the heart of a lot of the recovery homes in that area. But we were told out the gates, like, you're not going to be able to get that building. Like, they don't let anybody in that building. And through miraculous intervention, I ended up getting a meeting with the guy, the captain there, Captain Jim. And he took me on the tour. It's this massive place. And he's like, I'm like, okay, well, how much is the meeting? He's like, it's free. And I'm not going to charge you guys for an hour on Saturday night for this. And it's like, all right. So we got in there. We didn't know how to operate anything. I didn't know how to use the projectors, the audio, nothing. Like, it was all like we were doing earlier, just learning on the fly. And the meeting's been, to me, I see the meeting and I'm like, oh, there's so much wrong with it right now, like visually. But like the response has been like this. I had a guy tell me that runs a big meeting in town on Sunday nights. He says, this is the best meeting in town. He's like, it really is informative. We have a lot of support from the community.
And dude, how crazy is it that it's like, if you guys would have just like never started because you felt like you didn't know how to run projectors or didn't know how to do it, but it kind of like shines true, that whole quote of like, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great, you know? And now you guys are driving like one of the largest crowds out of any of the meetings in town. And how long has it been?
I think April 27th was the first one. So like,
Yeah.
Is that what, 4 months?
not even like
Not even
3 months.
3 months? Give it 3 years.
What's today's date?
I know.
20.
And the whole goal is to like try to reach more people, to help more people, you know.
Yeah. And
It's a refreshing format. It's different. I don't know. It gives you a platform to really just be raw. I mean, that's
We want to do other things too, like helping, like with not with just like the Project Exodus nonprofit side, just like, but like trying to like teach classes, like
Mhm.
teach people how to, you know, people want to learn how to make a budget,
Yeah.
you know, or do like how to build a resume, things like that for people in early recovery.
Well, you guys also, I mean, dude, talk about, didn't you guys just do a big beach event too?
Mm-hmm.
You guys
So-
also like create opportunities for people to go out and like do things with other people in recovery, you know?
Yeah, that was
We got a
the-
Western party too.
yeah, at the end of the
Country
year,
Western.
we're doing a big line dance at a farm out here in
I think it's Clark Road. It's
We're
like
gonna- we're
a
gonna bring
ranch
out
out there.
our new mocktail flavor. Got our own drink coming out.
Yeah.
Look for it.
yeah, bourbons.
kegs of almond milk.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one. But like you say with the beach party, we did a beach party the week before the first meeting. And I did not expect there to be as many people. I
4
walked.
o'clock on a Saturday, the sunset, like, and also baptism, like with Recovery Church, and it was like
Oh,
we
wow.
made we made like 120 burgers, 150 hot dogs. It was gone in like 30 minutes.
Yeah,
Wow.
Probably, like,
we had
over-
over 100. I think it was like 120 people that we counted, not
Yeah.
counting the people that were at the beach. I mean, it was huge. And then
It was good. It was cool. GoPro was in
yeah, we were-
live.
And
So-
and to be fair, it was extremely unorganized. Like we
Yeah.
were just throwing up a table with T-shirts, hoping people would show up, and then, you know, it was still fun. We did another one 2 weeks ago
Mm.
with Purpose House and Celebrate Recovery. We partnered with them. Shout out to them. And it was in the morning time. Still a lot of people come out, but it was fun. It was like a lot of people look forward to that, and they were, like you said, it was something to do outside of a meeting that didn't, go to the beach and not require you to get drunk.
Yeah.
And we plan on that line dancing thing. I think that's going to be a huge
Want to
hit.
do like jet skis, just rent a couple jet skis, or find somebody that has some and just like post up on South Lido and just pull up and just swap out.
Hell yeah.
That'd
That'd be
cool.
sick.
Don't attach our name to it, just in case somebody gets hurt.
Yeah,
right.
Project X just jet ski accident.
Yeah, I'm already typing the release form in my mind right now. So we'll be good.
Yeah. But yeah, Project Exodus, the Next Generation Recovery meeting's been really good. The really cool thing to see behind the scenes of the other meetings that we take or we go and like the court program or the crossings, we go up there once a month, the Sally every Friday. Like, to me, that's what inspires a lot of what we do, is because you go into these places and then, I think we can kind of all relate. Like the moments in those first few days of recovery, I think, take the most courage out of my entire recovery journey. Was those first few days of saying I need help. And you go into these places. Salvation Army is a good example. I mean, there's probably 60 people in there at any given moment, and a lot of them in their first days, they walk in, they look so defeated. And so being able to stand up in front of them and say, you know, hey, I'm really proud of you guys. Like and relate to them, and like to call on them and really kind of encourage them to share. And it's a really rewarding feeling that we think if you could bottle that up and take that to other places and other areas of town for people in early recovery, I think it would really help save a lot of lives. And that's kind of the disadvantage of walking into one of these places where they've went to 15 meetings that week, and it all starts the same, and being able to kind of break the monotony by saying, hey, what's up, guys?
Yeah.
You know, and play some music or just kind of lighten the mood. And
Make it make recovery a fun thing. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
For people to like be excited about.
Right. I mean, it should be. I mean, it is. I mean, that is what it is. I mean, it's your freedom. It's what's going to save your life.
That was my biggest
you
fear.
don't
Was
know it
like, what am I gonna do? You know, but like, because all I know is drinking and partying. But like, and like getting sober is like serious, especially like if you can't stop and you're just destroying your life and your families. But it's gotta you gotta be able to have fun and smile and like know that it's possible.
and, you know, I don't know if it's supposed to be a joyous occasion,
Hey,
but you can really tell how excited people are when you reconnect with your parents or someone that you haven't talked to because you were drinking or using drugs, and they're like the first ones to come over, like, I'm so proud, I'm so happy of you, like this is what we really wanted, like, and to kind of shift gears and to go into that mode of, hey, this is something to be proud of, to be happy about. Let's get further and further away from that last drink or that last drug and have fun with it. I mean, it's definitely a very serious thing. You know, you don't want to go out and party too soon, celebrating your recovery. But to have the dialogue to say it's okay, you know, you're doing the right thing.
and it
Let's
gets
keep
better,
it floating.
it gets easier.
How long did it take you to process? And maybe it hasn't even yet. It took me a long time for my mind to start like reshaping enjoyment and having fun and social situations. Like, I mean, the first year I was just like, I don't know if this is fun or not. You know, I'm not in jail. I got money in my pocket. Job's going amazing. Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of hope, but is this fun? Like, it was this awkward, you know?
Me, probably like I don't know.
Still going
I'm
on?
just social, so like I don't know. I don't know. Like the booze and the drugs never like made me more social. Like I was
Right.
always happy and fun loving and outgoing to begin with, and it kind of did the opposite for me. So like I don't know, not very long. I mean, it took me probably like maybe a good 6 months for like the fog to like be completely lifted and to feel, you know, like normal. But
Yeah, you were like complete opposite of me. You're like, man, I'm being too fun and loving. I need to go isolate and drink and do drugs.
yeah,
I'm the opposite. I'm like, man, I need to stop isolating. It's time to like, you know,
I
eliminate
just
the
know how I
fear of
am. So it's
social-
like the instant that it goes into my body, I just like immense guilt, shame, fear, and it's like I can't let anybody see me like this. I can't go home because they're gonna know, you know. And it's just like, and so I just
So
I'm
just
gone.
stay here for 4 days.
I'm just gone. Yeah.
I'm just going to sleep in my
Where's
car.
Andrew? He's been gone for a whole week.
car parking lot.
Yep. 7 days later.
Like you meet so many good people with really, you know, rough backgrounds that are
Mhm.
just genuinely out there trying to help people. One of my favorite people that we work with is Sonia. Sonia is just like gung ho, nonstop. She's going to help anybody and everybody she can. Angela's the same way. I mean, there's just so many really good people in this community that I hope we can highlight the positive things they do. Like that's one of the cool things about the panel is you can really kind of bring people up that don't
Right.
normally have a platform to talk and
Mhm.
help. But when you see them like behind the scenes on the street and the work that they're doing and the service that they're providing, and they're
Yeah, there's definitely some amazing human beings that we would not have met had we not been in recovery. I mean, that's probably the biggest part of it. I mean,
yeah, and you see them in meetings and things like that, or you see them just in passing. But like that, one of my favorite things to do at the meeting is when we did this with Mr. Rick the other night. And for those that don't know, Mr. Rick's like one of the directors at the Salvation Army. So if you go and you live at the Salvation Army for a few months, Mr. Rick's kind of like the guy that's like, hey, make your bed, get up. And he comes to our meeting just to, as an audience, to come see one of the people that were making presentation. And I had the luxury of doing the MC work. And I was like, everybody welcome Mr. Rick, he's here. And everyone's all clapping. I was like, raise your hand if Mr. Rick had, an impact in your recovery. And like you see everybody raise their hand, and then I get to look at Mr. Rick. I was like, take a look around. Thank you.
Damn.
And, like highlighting people, not just because of their position or anything, but just telling them thank you and acknowledging, hey, we know.
It's like that positive reinforcement for people to go out there and keep doing good shit,
And that 19-year-old that sees that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at them afterwards and say, hey, there's people out there that need help that only you can really connect with. It's hard for 36-year-old Paul to connect with a kid that's addicted to Fortnite, and that's a real thing for them. And I may scoff at it like, what? But that's a real thing,
Magic the Gathering.
Magic the Gathering, yeah. Mario Kart, They're
Paul's like, what are you ranked in the world right now?
way up there. Let's not talk about that.
Sorry.
No, but it's very interesting to see people, when they get a chance to actually step up and talk about whatever it is they're passionate about and the impact they've had.
Got to inspire people to be great, man.
It's the goal.
Yep. Project Exodus, baby.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be a short podcast today. We got a little bit of a late start, but episode 2, what time is it? We're out?
7:07.
7:07. Yep. Charlotte's probably going to be in the bed asleep when I get home, thank the Lord.
If you're lucky.
If I'm lucky, yeah. All right, good deal. So we encourage everybody to, that hears this to go to our website, projectexoduscorp.com. Go to Facebook. You can follow us there. We make posts every day. We're going to try to find a way to put this up.
Come to our meeting,
Yep.
7 o'clock, Salvation Army on Tuttle, 7 p.m.
How about help somebody who needs help and share it with us on Facebook.
Yeah, that's our motto, is go help someone. So we encourage you to just tag us in anything you do, and you can support us through going to our website, making a donation there. We've got shirts that we sell. On average, we make about $5 a shirt, and all of that money goes back to helping someone get into a halfway house or a phone, or help them find a job. I mean, Joel went and got some guys some shoes this week. Yesterday we bought some girls some groceries that had just got out of a detox facility. Earlier this week we helped a gentleman that came out of the Salvation Army, didn't have money to pay to get into a recovery program, so we paid his first 2 weeks into that. But it was all from selling T-shirts and the donations we get. It's none of us make a dime, so and nor do we really want to. We really want to help people, and so we encourage you, if you get a chance, if anything, follow us on Facebook, check out our page, and subscribe, share it. Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks, Doctor.
All right. Is that it?
That's it.
Peace.
Peace.